Hello, everybody. I'm Daniel. I am with Cryptos Paranormal Investigation. I am coming back. It's been several years. The last time that I was doing the paranormal was about 10 years ago. I had a huge issue. I had pretty much all my equipment was stolen while I was away at an investigation. So it's been a long time coming, rebuilding my equipment, my gear, getting everything back to where I can do another investigation and get back out on the road. Last time I did an investigation, I did the Beasts of Bray Road. I was up in Wisconsin for a while, Montana for a while, just kind of traveling around. Now I'm back down here in Arizona where I have picked up some new work, and this work has allowed me to renew all my old equipment. I've got new equipment, I've got new fancy equipment, I've got REM pods, microphones, I've got cameras galore. I've got everything that I could possibly need to get back into the paranormal. Now, that being said, what will I be investigating? Well, first place I'm going to be investigating is my own property. I purchased some land out in the middle of Arizona. Unbeknownst to me, there's quite a bit of history with this property. Property has had several deaths, several murders, several suicides on and about the area. There is a sinkhole, a natural sinkhole, just a few miles away down the road from this home. But also on the property, I have found out that through city records that there was a burial plot on this property. Whether or not there's somebody there or if it's multiple people, I don't know yet. I have to find it. The records were a little jumbled up in that property. It was like 4 or 5 different properties, and they diced it up into different chunks. But then the part that I bought, there was people living on it. Now, that didn't seem like too much of an issue for me. Then I found out the owner died on the property, his wife left, but before that happened, other people owned the property. There was a murder-suicide or double murder-suicide that had happened on the property, and then there was also a family there who buried their family on the property, but I don't know if it's in my section of the property or if it's off into another area. I don't know. Past couple of times that I've been out there into that property, I'd heard things, I'd seen things. There's stuff that I can't quite explain. Now I've got trail cameras up there, they're motion activated, they're on a secure server. It is through a wireless. It's actually set up cellular, so I can actually view the property remotely. Well, I've had images show up that I can't quite explain, other things that have shown up that I can explain. It's just a hit or miss type deal with it. But I digress. That's going to be the first property that I'm going to investigate as soon as I can get some stuff running here. Then I'm going to move on to that, get that going. Because it's been a few years, and growing up, living around paranormal, being part of the paranormal, that's my niche. I love it. I love the paranormal. I love it. Okay, so in my history of growing up in the paranormal, let's see. I grew up in a house in Wisconsin, big, huge house, massive. It was, you've seen the haunted house, or that. Yeah, looks similar to that. Big basement, big upstairs, all kinds of rooms, real old. I grew up in that house. Lots of stuff happened in that house. We had moved out of that house, but a friend of mine, their family had moved in. We'd go and play there. We'd have fun, but anytime we played, we'd go in the basement and play because that was turned into a playroom. Lots of things happened there. We heard voices. We saw all kinds of weird things down there. We had an incident when I was growing up. We had, old cameras, take a picture. You don't know what's on it until you get the film developed. I'd taken one of those cameras that we had for one of our outings to go to our aunt's cabin. Took one of those up to the house, playing with friends, taking photos. I remember distinctly taking a photo of two of my friends in front of, I think it was a heater at the time. There was a heater in there, and they had all the Power Rangers outfits, and it was like they had a whole rack of clothes, and it was all costumes for Halloween. Took a picture of my two friends in front of that. But there was a third face in that photo when it was developed. That was like my very first experience with the paranormal. Fast forward a little bit, my grandmother's house. Beautiful house. Beautiful house, right? But my father, my aunt, and my grandfather all experienced things in that house, and so did I. So did my sisters. Now, we all saw the exact same person on different days at different times, and we never told each other. The only time anything happened that anybody else knew what was going on is when I was helping my grandfather in the basement of that house. We went down to the basement. I was trying to help him put something away. It was some kind of knickknacks that my grandmother had taken out for some reason. But we were putting those away. Now, when you walk down the basement stairs, you're facing to the center of the house. You look to the front of the house, and it's a big open wall and a big, huge crack in the wall. Big crack in the foundation. Big, scary crack. Always gave me the creeps. But at the back of the house, there was an old well. That was also creepy. Me and my grandfather went down there. We were putting stuff away, and I was helping him sort through the boxes so that, the right stuff was going in the right boxes. Because my grandmother had this tendency of just throw everything in a box, hand it off, and put it away. Me and my grandfather were down there working at his workbench, putting stuff away. And it was just the two of us there. But when I turned around, there was another man there. He was standing in the back of the room. Full gray beard, overalls. One of those wool felt hats. I told my grandfather that he was there, and he said he's always there. I didn't know at the time what was going on. A few months later, back at Grandma's house, we were having fun. My sisters went upstairs, then they came back downstairs. They were playing in the living room. I went upstairs. Now this stairs, you go in through the side door, you make the turn, and there's the kitchen and dining room, but then right there next to it is the stairs that go upstairs. You go up the steps, and it's a hard turn at the top of the steps to a little landing, and that goes into a first room. The first room's the toy room. It's where Grandma just piled up toys, as pretty much knee high to a child. Toys. End of the hallway. You look down the hallway, you got a closet, another room, and at the far end of the hall is another room at the far end of the house, which is the front of the house facing the streets. I got up to the top of the steps. That door was closed. It's always closed. I was playing, I was looking for toys, I was looking for specific toys. Because, little boy, I need specific toys to play with. Came out of that room with a handful of toys. Heard somebody clear their throat. And I looked down at the hallway. The door's open, and there's that old man again. I saw him, clear as day, standing in the doorway, backlit by the light coming through the window of the house. Went downstairs, told my grandmother. My grandmother said that I was overreacting and I had a great imagination just to go play. A few months later, same thing happened to my sister. Same thing happened to my dad. My dad went up there. My dad, hardcore Marine. He would not walk in if the basement door was open. He would not enter the house if the basement door was even cracked. If he went upstairs to tell us anything, he would stand on the landing and not enter the hallway because he could see down to the end of the hall. His room was not the one at the end of the hall, but the one right next to it. He grew up with that door locked at all times because it creeped him out. Creeped my aunt out. My aunt saw the same people, same thing in the house. She saw it in the living room. She saw it in the kitchen. She saw it in the back room. I've seen him in the backyard. And I saw him the other day when I was looking at it on Google Maps. Creepy. Now, some people will be like, well, that's just that's just like the clouds and the reflection and you get that. No, I looked. Zoomed in, shifting the view, and looking at the sky. None of the clouds match anything that's in that window. Spooky. Now, I've got so much stuff going on here that I don't know when I'm going to get out the next time. But the next time I do get out and I get to go up to my property, I'm going to do a full investigation up there. Maybe spend 2-3 nights, depending on how the weather is. Then I'm going to come back. I'm going to run through the footage. I'm going to make something up. I'm going to post it on here. And that's going to be the first video. One of these days I'll get to go out and do another big time investigation. But until then, I'm stuck doing smaller things. But I'm not going to be one of those guys that goes out there, goes, hey, look, here's some orbs. Oh, look, here's a thing, and look, and overreact. I'm not going to do that. I've done investigations for several years. I've done paranormal investigations for 20 plus years. I know I don't look that old, but I'm in my 30s, and I've been doing this since before Ghost Hunters was even on TV. So, there's that. But one of these days, I'm going to get out. I'm going to be able to do the bigger investigations. I'm going to have that free time. But right now, as it sits, I'm the mechanic for the house. I'm also the plumber for the house. I'm the electrician. I'm the everything for the house. And I'm needed right here, right now. But when I start getting out, I'm going to start showing you some stuff. I'm going to start doing more. Just got to wait for it. But, years in the field, I've got the experience, I've got the equipment. It's going to take me a bit to get up there. But, as I said, I'm Daniel with Kryptos Paranormal Investigation, shooting here, telling you guys I'm back, I'm starting over again, new me, new company. Maybe, hopefully, in the future, I'll see you guys sometime at an investigation. Hopefully, sooner than later.